Our top story this evening is from Karnataka. What caused the accident of the Bangalore-Ernakulam intercity express on Friday that killed 9 people? Well, initially the railway officials and the Union Railways Minister Suresh Prabhu had said that a boulder had fallen on the track that led to the derailment of 9 coaches. But now it seems the officials do not think so. That's because repeated searches of the accident site have ruled out that possibility. So now they think that either the loco pilot may have been overspeeding or there was some defects in the railway track. Our deputy editor Rohini Swami has been tracking this story closely. Rohini, so now the boulder theory has been negated, rejected. So it now means that the railway officials are once again groping in the dark as to what really caused the railway accident.
They're not just groping in the dark, but they're also trying to find out what the reasoning could be. Because on one hand, they were going by the boulder theory, but when they actually, the railway officials, as well as the Commissioner of Railway Safety, landed on the site, there was no sight of any boulder, or that whole terrain didn't look like it had boulders. And that is why they kept debating. There was a high-level meeting that has been taking place for the last 48 hours on this. And finally, they've decided to dismiss the idea that the possibility that a boulder could have caused the accident. Now they're coming down to 2 points.
So
one is overspeeding, or second, it could be because of the tracks. Now the point also that they're raising is that they need to find out what exactly went wrong at that point of time, because the loss of lives and railway safety is something which is very, very important. So the Commissioner of Railway Safety now will be submitting a report to the Ministry of Railways. But let me also point out one thing, that the Railway Minister, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, was quick to tweet. He had tweeted saying the boulder was the cause of it. And that could possibly be that because this has been dismissed, that he did not even arrive on the site, which was a normal norm of any railway minister to go to the accident site. He did not come to the accident site but met up with the victims and then went back to Delhi.
Right. So Rohini, that brings to my second question. Did the officials and the minister jump the gun by arriving at this boulder theory?
Well, obviously they have, for the simple reason that when the Railway Minister, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, tweeted it as soon, almost an hour and a half after the accident took place, everybody thought the theory was based on some kind of what has happened on the ground and the kind of feedback they've got from there. But as the investigation has progressed, they've realized there's no boulder, there's nothing that has been found in terms of debris, even of a boulder around that area. So obviously they have jumped the gun, and obviously right now it's almost like that the Commissioner of Railway Safety will have to find out the exact reason so that at least they come to a closure to this accident as to why it happened.
Right. Rohini Swami, thanks a lot for joining us with all those details on that rail mishap that took place near Bengaluru on Friday. Now, staying with news from Karnataka, 4 Bodo militants have been arrested from different parts of Karnataka in the last 1 month, raising the question whether Bengaluru and Karnataka are emerging as some kind of a hideout for Bodo militants from Assam. In fact, 3 top militants were arrested in January and one another was arrested yesterday. Joining me now from Bengaluru for a perspective is former DGP of Karnataka, Mr. Shankar Bidri. Mr. Bidri, thanks a lot for joining us on Up South. Now, 4 militants of Bodo group being arrested in different parts of Karnataka in the last 1 month. That's a matter of concern. Why do you think Bengaluru is becoming such a preferred destination, a safe hideout for many of these Bodo militants?
It is not the first time. Consistently from 1991, when I was the DCP headquarters, we had arrested 10 Ulfa militants from Bangalore city only. There is a freedom of movement for every citizen of India, and normally the terrorist groups find hideouts far away from their place of operation, and Bangalore is preferred because there is a huge northeast population. They can easily merge into the Bangalore population. So for the last 25 years, Bangalore is a preferred destination for all the northeastern militant groups.
Right. Mr. Bidri, a related question. What do you think will be the fallout of something like this, of arrest of these Bodo militants on the large northeastern population that has made Bengaluru their home?
We have to take it in our stride. Only thing is that now there is no proper cooperation apparatus for intelligence exchange between different states. Therefore, the NCTC which was proposed should come into existence, and proper and real-time coordination should be there regarding the exchange of intelligence in between different states and center. Until such a apparatus comes into existence and starts functioning, it is difficult to control this kind of exodus of militants from one state to the other.
Right. Mr. Shankar Bidri, thanks a lot for joining us with that perspective on this story coming from Karnataka. News now from Kerala, where the bail application of Mohammed Nisham, the business tycoon who rammed his Hummer vehicle onto a security guard in Thrissur, has been rejected. The Thrissur Sessions Court rejected the bail plea, stating that Nisham is a very influential man and that he could tamper with evidence and witnesses. Mohammed Nisham had rammed his Hummer vehicle on Chandra Bose, a security guard at his apartment complex, for delay in opening the gates. This horrific incident took place about 3 weeks ago. Nisham had also got off the car and thrashed the security guard with an iron rod for being slow. The security guard, Chandra Bose, succumbed to his injuries on the 16th of this month. Rohini is with us. Rohini, this is an extremely sad and a very tragic story, and there has been a lot of speculation over the pace of investigation and what course the investigation is taking. And given what the court has said, that he's a very influential man. So what are the voices that you're picking up from the ground in Kerala?
Well, one thing is very sure, that what has been brought to the notice of the court as well as the police is that he's an habitual offender. It's not the first time such an incident has taken place, but it has not led to murder. But this specific incident is murder or absolutely gruesome in nature. Now, the point that is also being made is in terms of the investigations, is they're saying that there are multi-layers to this. One is the major big thing, that is the murder that was included in this. But more importantly also, the fact that he was under the influence of drugs, and a huge cache of drugs was also found from his residence. Another point also is they're trying to track his wife, who they say could be indirectly involved in this, and right now she's absconding. Keeping all this in mind, that is how the investigating agencies have now asked the police, the court, that they would like to that the bail should be rejected, and they would want custody of him so they can take the investigation further and at least find out as to who else could be possibly involved in this. Another point I'd like to also make in terms of eyewitnesses, the fact that the Sessions Court did not grant him bail, saying that he could influence the eyewitnesses and also tamper with evidence, because mind you, he's a very he's a businessman who has a lot of contacts in Kerala, and keeping that in mind, the court has decided to reject his plea.
Right. Rohini Swami, thanks a lot for joining us with all those details on this story, in which a lot of interest has been generated in Kerala. Now, Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena is back in Colombo after what is seen as a successful 4-day visit to India. In fact, today he visited the Tirumala Shrine in Andhra Pradesh before leaving for Sri Lanka. And the visit saw a deal signed on civilian nuclear cooperation between India and Sri Lanka. Joining me now from Chennai for a perspective is senior journalist Mr. R.K. Radhakrishnan. Mr. Radhakrishnan, do you see the Sirisena visit to India, in fact the first since he took over as President of Sri Lanka, as having set the reset button, some kind of a course correction, given the fact that under Rajapaksa, Sri Lanka was seen as tilting towards China?
I don't think there is anything to substantiate the fact that there has been a reset in relationship, because the economic commitments that China has made in Sri Lanka has not been withdrawn. The port city project, which was what Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Prime Minister, said will be reconsidered, is not being reconsidered, and a whole lot of things. There has been only 4 agreements which were signed in Delhi when Sirisena had come, and also this is a very inopportune moment to make any larger concessions to India. But even with all of that, you should also remember that Sirisena is on his way to China later on this month. So with all this, it doesn't appear that there has been a reset, but definitely there has been a slight inkling or inclination towards India, yes.
Okay, so you look at the visit in that light, that not much has been achieved because of the Sirisena visit. But when Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes to Sri Lanka in the month of March, what do you think he should focus on to ensure that the visit goes beyond mere optics?
First thing, I believe it's a very, very wrong time to visit. You're having the parliamentary elections come up in April in Sri Lanka. This is the most inopportune time to visit. I wonder who the advisors are Mr. Modi's advisors are. I wonder what this trip will achieve, because there is a lot of anti-India sentiment among the Sinhalas in Sri Lanka, because all said and done, it's a fact that Tamils, the LTTE was armed and abetted by India, the plot and the other organizations, militant organizations were armed and abetted by India. That is a huge blot in the Indo-Sri Lankan relationship. Sinhalese will never forget any of these things. I really wonder if anything can be achieved at all, barring maybe a few more meaningless agreements like establishing a nuclear power plant in Sri Lanka, for heaven's sake of all the things. The Sampur power plant thermal power plant is nowhere near completion, and I don't see anything substantial coming out of this visit.
Right, Mr. Radhakrishnan. So you are not very optimistic about what can be achieved from the Narendra Modi visit to Sri Lanka in the month of March. Now, well-known Telugu, Tamil and Hindi producer D. Ramanaidu is no more. He was 78. The Dada Saheb Phalke Award winner, who also entered the Guinness Book of World Records for having produced the maximum number of movies by an individual, passed away today. He is survived by his actor son Venkatesh and elder son producer Suresh Babu. His grandson Rana Daggupati is also an actor. He was also a Lok Sabha MP of the Telugu Desam for a term between 1999 and 2004. Now, 3 Indians have made it to a list of 100 applicants who will be sent on a one-way ticket to Mars starting 2024. One of them lives in India and she is an engineering student who studies in Coimbatore, and her name is Shraddha Prasad.
This 19-year-old mechanical engineering student from Kerala is one step away from realizing her dream. One step away from getting a ticket to the Red Planet. Shraddha Prasad made it to the list of 100 applicants who will move on to the next round of an ambitious private mission that aims to send 4 people every 2 years on a one-way trip to Mars starting 2024. 3 Indians, including Shraddha, have made it to the list. She read a newspaper article and decided to apply online. From her childhood, Shraddha had a passion for watching space movies and astronauts. Her teachers say Shraddha always stood out in the crowd. She is one of the only 2 girls in her mechanical engineering class at a Coimbatore college. Mars One is a non-profit organization based in the Netherlands. It aims to establish a permanent human settlement on Mars by offering a one-way trip to those selected. The first unmanned flight is slated for liftoff in 2018. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
And finally, the Air India show was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Yelahanka Air Force Base near Bangalore today, where the focus was on Make in India. Let's leave you with these magnificent pictures of the wing walkers. Thank you.